And good morning. Happy Tuesday, March 25th. It's almost the end of the month, you know. You think we're going to continue the rally tracker for the end of the month?
I would love to see the rally continue for the end of the month. Um, things like Tesla has a pivot point. The center pivot point for the month is 321.73. I don't know if it'll get up there, but the tendency is usually to head back towards a pivot. So we could see
Yeah.
some continuation higher.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, that's for sure. And Monday is actually the last day of the month, so it won't be the Friday close, it'll be the
Ooh,
Monday close. So we'll see. We'll see what markets have up their sleeves.
that does make it extra interesting. And then I think next
Yeah.
week Tesla delivery numbers are supposed to come out.
Oh, yeah, for I think Tuesday,
For the
though, right? Or
Yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah, yeah. Usually
Tuesday. Yeah.
it's like in the first 4 days of the month.
Yeah.
They don't always say which one.
All right, well, let's just get started here. I see some requests coming in from Ben, but as usual, we'll start with the SPY. And yeah, there's continuation to the upside here on the weekly chart. So can it get back up to the baseline here and the conversion line where it's kind of like a katana forming up there? I think it's possible. So that's 575 pre-market, and that conversion baseline is 581.45. So there is more room to the upside here for the SPY, and I think it can get there after gapping up on Monday. But the closer it gets there, guys, the more cautious I would get, because I'm not sure if it's going to break free the first time, and it's just basically reverting back to the mean, right? So it's just going back to where price was before, and we'll see. That's going to be the true test if things really want to break out or if they're going to break back down. So don't get excited at resistance. Get a little bit more cautious. QQQ, same situation. It gapped up above the 50-week moving average yesterday, continued higher, and now it has a potential to get back to the 500s again, right? The 503, 504 zone, where there's also a weekly katana forming as well. So we'll see. I mean, lots of interesting stuff happening here. So, and it does have more room to go to the upside, but this is going to be the true test for markets, whether they can break free or not. And with the IWM, this one also has a little bit more room to go to the upside too, but it's still stuck inside the cloud here. So what I'm really watching is this 212 zone, and also all this action right here from the 213 to the 216 right here, just to see if it can break above. But still, since it's stuck inside the cloud, the top of the cloud still could be the resistance there around 211. So we'll see if it can break above. But support held perfectly for the IWM down here, all the moving averages, and the 50% fib down there as well. So lots of good things are in the works, but the true test is yet to come. So we'll see if the end of March can continue to be bullish. And I did want to touch on Bitcoin real quick too before we jump into everything else. And Bitcoin, we can just zoom out here and I'll show you exactly what I see. That there was a weekly candle close above the baseline on Sunday, also above the 1.272, but now we're stuck exactly between fibs 91.1 and 83.5. We're stuck right in the middle of that. And not only that, it's having difficulty once again getting back above this 45-degree angle, which is very important because it was a previous resistance for the market top before. So that is going to be the next thing to overcome, and that's right around 87.6, right? So 87,600. But until then, it's exactly stuck in the middle of a range, and we'll see if it has the strength to press on. But everything is getting closer and closer to resistance. So the closer things get, then the more cautious I will be until there's proof things can break above.
Yeah, just
All
a quick
right.
reminder that 45-degree angle on a Gantt chart is really important. It's typically what the entire chart is built upon. So that's the symmetry point that Matt would talk about, market symmetry. So we've been sort of stuck under it. We got over it a little bit, got really enthusiastic, and just a little wick under it, and yeah, right back at it.
Yep. Yeah, this is a very interesting development for sure. But it's not a bearish development, though, because support was reclaimed perfectly. And when you look at monthly charts, I think I showed the monthly chart yesterday, that there's been no monthly candle close below that 1.272, right? So nothing about this formation on a high time frame is bearish at all. But you got to understand that everything is still stuck, right? All markets are basically still stuck, even with the SPY, QQQ, everything. They're still stuck under a lot of resistance, so it has to prove themselves, right? So I guess with that said, we can talk about Tesla. Do you have a chart you want to show ready, or I can
Sure.
jump on
Oh, go ahead and
first?
pull me up. And first, I just want to show the SPY on the weekly chart. This is we talked about mean reversion yesterday, and that's exactly what we got. This red line here is the daily moving average 200, and what happened is we just came right back up to the moving average 200, and that's what we're sort of fighting with. If it's resistance, then we'll get a back test. But if we can get over it and then test back to a support, then we could get a bullish end of the month here. And that's what I want to say. And then Tesla actually has the same look to it. Tesla's daily moving average is right here where price is in pre-market. Up here, this moving average 200 is about. It's also about the weekly R3 pivot, about 285 or 284.60. Yeah, and price is 283.64 right now in pre-market. So let's go to this chart. I messed up yesterday. I just got so suspicious of our good fortune. It had this gap here. I couldn't stop looking at it. I should have just left it alone. I started to sell as we approached. Well, as we got into this 123.6% fib extension, because I thought maybe it was going to go 382, 236, 1236, but no, it kept going to the 1382, and then after the market closed, it went to the 1.5, and then to the 1.618. So that's my bad. I definitely messed up. I got too cautious of my own good fortune. I got my own way. So now I'm back in cash, and I got to figure out if it gets. Oh, where's the moving average 200 on the daily chart? So if price gets above this weekly R3 and this moving average 200 and tests back to it as support, well, then I'll have to buy back in because I think it could just keep running. But if this becomes resistance up here at this moving average 200, also the R3 at 285.30, then it'll start to test back somewhat. From the 1618, I would expect it to come back at least to this 1.236 at about 270. So let's see if it does. Yeah, that's it. It's either going to do one of two things. It's going to go past the moving average 200 on the daily and keep going up, or it'll start testing back supports. I'll look for this first. Secondly, this 100% fib at 260, that's 100% of the move from the bottom to the wave 1 top, but taken from the wave 2 bottom up to the 100% here, which is also kind of this 11.4% fib retracement from the 215 bottom all the way back up to that 488 top. So yeah, that's where we're at. So either 2 days continuation or today we get some kind of weird back test. But then after that, if we had a red day today, I'd expect a green day tomorrow. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I've got to say for Tesla right now. And my long-term chart predictions are the same. I'm still looking for 500, back to 360, and up to 800. I'm sorry, 750, and so forth and so on. So let's see if we get a V-shaped bottom or a K-shaped bottom.
Yeah, we'll see. With my chart for Tesla here, it's basically I'm looking at that daily moving average is approaching fast. Then you got the daily baseline above at 292. So you got 284.69. Then you got 292.18. So we are going to be running back up to some of this daily resistance here fairly quickly. But on the weekly chart, if it can overcome that, the weekly chart has potential to go straight up to the 786 fib again if it can overcome those levels. 306.93 and the conversion line at 318.51. So could it just go straight up there and melt right up? I mean, with Tesla, it does like to just break through these fib levels and moving averages very, very easily, sometimes to the upside and to the downside. So I think it is possible. But we got to see if the momentum can continue. And the best way to do that is by looking, at the daily chart to see how daily candles close every single day this week, if they can build and build and build by breaking through one support level or one resistance level at a time. So we'll see that. But
That's
in the meantime,
interesting.
I do. What's that?
It's interesting that 306.28 is also the 23.6% fib retracement from that 215 bottom to the 488 top.
Yeah, no
Kind of lines up with.
coincidences, right?
I know, right?
But what I'm really looking at myself is this 272 now holding, and the 50-week moving average holding 270.97. And if that can continue to hold that area, then I think a new base could be built on top of there. And I honestly think that it can probably just, no matter what, climb its way out of the cloud, and maybe even get to the back to the 350s this in the next few months at least, right? Maybe even sooner. So we'll see. I think price does like to be aggressive on the upside and the downside, and now we can possibly even see, like Tracker was saying, maybe a V-shaped bottom back up, at least to major resistance up here in the 350s. So we'll see, but
Yeah.
one level at a time. And right now, pre-market, we're approaching that 200-day moving average, so gotta be a little bit cautious there. If you guys bought the lows down here, maybe just be a little bit patient to see if it can break above this 285 zone.
Yep.
All right, and now I see a request for Rocket Lab, RKLB.
Yeah, we had that one yesterday. We didn't get to it, so I'm glad we can get to it today.
Yeah, so Rocket Lab, we can see that price is going back up to this baseline right now. And so going back up to the previous high that was set back in 2021 in September. And now what do we see here? We see price still stuck, right? It's still stuck. There's really no change after holding this 886 support right here, the 1735. There's been no change week after week. It's just been getting closer and closer to all this resistance zone up here. So 2107, 2134, even the ARC appears potential to be back tested, which is around the 2260s up here. So so far it's a big breakout, big rejection at the blue level of the GAN and the ARC, back to the 886, and now it's reverting back to the mean as well, which means that I would be a little bit cautious here until there's proof it can really break back above. So that's basically the moral of the story of all markets, that they're just going back to a major resistance zone, and then it's going to have to prove to us what it really wants to do, what it wants to do.
All right, I've got my take on Rocket Lab as well, which matches up with yours pretty nicely. Sorry, I've got all this stuff on my screen. I've been bringing back the moving averages, but here's my 1-2 from when Rocket Lab was let's see, down here at 420 to 33.34, and then it had a bottom at 1605. So the 1-2 I'm looking for next for the wave 3 would be this. I'm looking at the 618, 236, because it kind of did that back here before. And look where this 236 is right here. If it's going to be support later, it'll be resistance first. And it's right at the monthly pivot point of 2275, right about where Matt was talking about 2260 being resistance. So maybe it bounces off the first time, but if it can get over it, or after it gets over it, I'm going to look for it to run to maybe 3406. If it's more cautious and gets squeezy, it'll go 236. It'll go 382, 236, and then 1236. But right now I'm hoping for a 618, 236, and then 1236. So anyway, watch 2293 first initially as resistance, and then look at each of these fibs as they go along, kind of get to the 382. Here's a sell block order about the 50% extension, and then ideally 3406 for the 618. And then back here, and you can profit off of this move and then take it on up. So here, there's my Rocket Lab, and then any way you slice it, whether it's 382, 236 or 618, 236, Wave 5 still projects for 81.21 for this eventually. So that's nice. That's a nice 4x from where we're at now.
Yeah.
All right, all the requests are rolling in now.
Yeah, we see a Powell. Do you have that one? POWL.
I don't know if I do. Oh, I do. Powell Industries. Let's see. Since I drew it before, or at least since I drew it last, the wave 2 bottom hasn't changed, so my chart remains the same. It looks like it moved a little bit because all these moved a little bit. Hang on a second. I'm just gonna. So it looks like my next target is 361 for the 618, but obviously same story as with Rocket Lab just now. Look for resistance around this 23.6% fib at 228 and 47 cents, which is coincident right now with the monthly R1 pivot. But if I can get above that, then look for the 382 at 279, and then ideally the 618 for 361, and then it would come back to the 236 from there, and on up to the 1236, 764, and then 2236 up here at 927. If it's going to get, if it's going to be really bullish, this is one path it could take. The 1-2 tells me a lot more about the 3-4-5. So let's see where we get for the 1-2. But look at, at minimum 228.47 for the next resistance test.
Yeah, I see the 50-week moving average is around 204, 204. So that might pose a little bit of a resistance before that level.
Yep.
That's the only thing I see for Powell. So yeah,
right there.
So just got to get above that 50-week first. Then I think after that it could be kind of free sailing, but it's got to prove it first, as I always say. So we'll see with that. Yeah, and you have some wolf there. Go ahead.
My wolf's all messed up. I mean, it made a new lower low, so I'll have to fix this.
Well, I can jump on mine real quick.
Yeah,
just,
go ahead, please.
To show. Yeah, so the 100-week moving average got reclaimed with a gap up yesterday. So that is really important. And it also went back down to the 382 here, the 288. So even though it went back below the cloud, below a lot of things, I think what we're looking for is just a higher low the whole time. And the August 5th low still never even was breached. And if we look at this 382 right here, we can clearly see that price is just right. Like price went right there, right to the resistance, and it was a breakout back test, and it was another back test. So it technically wasn't a lower low. It just went back to a previous resistance, flipped to support, and now we have potential to even see price continue back up to the 370s, to the $4 range, and get to all of this resistance above. Now, will it break free the first time? Maybe not, right? Maybe it needs to go up and then retrace a little bit before trying to get more bullish. But I do see probably more continuation to the upside, maybe to the 370s, $4 range first. And then we'll see what price really does in that zone to see if it can break above or if it needs to retrace first before going higher. But support held perfectly of this high time frame, right? The previous resistance flipped to support. So I'm not too cautious on it anymore, especially after regaining this 329 100-week moving average. So WULF actually does look better and better.
All right, I've got my fibs on WULF fixed up here. So I'm looking for a more cautious 382236 here, just because of the way the weekly Ichimoku cloud looks. So look for resistance at $4.92. But then if I can get over it, look for resistance at $6.15. And if it stops there and comes back to 492, then it can go up to the 123.6 next at 1333. So let's just look for how it turns this corner. If it gets to the 382, or if it gets higher. But watch for exactly what I said. Resistance at 492 first, and then ultimately maybe getting up to 615 and see if it can get higher or if it gets turned back to the 23.6 from there. If it does, then 1236 up at 1333, 764 at $9.36, and the 2236 up here at 21.74. But yeah, and then this 382 looks like it's kind of the path for the weekly moving average 200, kind of coming up to the top there.
Yeah.
That's my view on that.
Yeah, and Kim Appreciates Life had a question about if you sold Tesla or TSLL.
Oh, let's see. Where Tracker, please be more clear when you say you sold. Oh gosh, I sold TSLL. Yeah. I didn't sell Tesla. I sold TSLL because I thought it was going to play tricks on me and give me a chance to buy back lower again. But it has not done that yet, and it might not do that. I might have to buy the breakout instead now. But if it comes back, I'm in cash and I can probably buy it where I sold it off yesterday. But maybe I don't know. We'll just have to see if it just keeps running today or if it starts testing supports again. Aww. Elsa Mrs. Cat. Okay, well, I think we left off at Cat Hodl, Mara, and GME.
Yeah, you got Mara
this
here.
This is my Mara chart.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I got Mara. I think we talked about this yesterday, maybe. But yeah, off of 1203 is the low that it reached. So look for, and if this one gets really bullish, it'd be like 764382. I'm starting to get more and more cautious. I think I might change a lot of these to 382236 initially and just see if they prove me wrong. The way the weekly chart here in the Ichimoku kind of looks like it's 382, 236, and then be 1236. I'm just kind of pulling all these down. 764 and then 2236. Right there. So yeah, all these numbers are a little bit wrong. Just ignore those. But yeah, let's look for if it can, like again, resistance initially at 1934. Then if it can get above that, let's see if it gets stuck at 2386 and sends it back down to 1934, or if I can get over it. And then I can tell you better what happens with the 345 after I get the 1-2 finished. And there's Mara.
All right, I got GME ready right here.
Go right ahead.
Yeah, so GME, it's actually doing a little bit better, right? It gapped up yesterday, actually even above the conversion line for the first time. So that 25.27, it actually opened up above, wick down below, and then it continued higher. So that was a really good sign of possibility of going higher. And pre-market, we can see that it is going higher a little bit. So it's getting back towards the direction of wanting to go back to the 200-week moving average at $27 on the baseline here. So after holding this big zone down here in the 23s and 24s and even the 22s, right, it reclaimed the 50-week, and I think it has potential to go a little bit higher. So if we're looking for something, they do have earnings. There is a potential to continue its journey up to the $27 zone up here to see how price really reacts up there. But I think with this gapping up, it could be telling a sign that price does want to continue its journey towards the resistance above. So let's watch this 2540, see if that can hold as support now and continue its way up to the 27. But still, we got the cloud up here. A lot of things, it's going to be stuck under at least this 382, the 3168 probably for a while. So I think there is going to be still time to accumulate until it's really ready to break out further. But yeah, the current range, 2540 up to the $27 range.
Yep. Matt says they have earnings. They have earnings today.
Yeah.
Today after market close.
Yeah.
So yeah, GameStop, it never lost its 1-2. It's just a higher high and a higher low for secondary 1-2. Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't even going to show it. But yeah, after this 1-2, it's another minor degree 1-2. So it looks good to continue higher. That means this chart that I drew like way back when hasn't changed. It still predicts like at some point 7109, the test back to 4433. That's all I got to say about that.
And next is EOS, if you got one of those.
Oh, I do have EOS. Let's see. Oh, gosh, I think I updated it. That's the right chart. Yes, that's updated. So, Gosh, I am not knowing exactly what's going to do. Just in the past, it's followed the 764,382 so well. Let's see if it keeps it up. So 764 would be 827 next, followed by the back test of 596. So let's see if it can keep running up to 596 before it has some difficulty, and then continues on to 827. And that would make the rest of it look pretty good. And these pivots say the monthly pivot for the rest of March is 478. Are we there in pre-market? Oops, 4 hours. 37. So no, it's still got another 50 cents to go just to get to the monthly, and then the daily 200 moving average. Oh yeah, we crossed up to it and then back down. That's weird. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong thing. Sorry, I've lost my 200 moving average. Where is it? Oh, it's way down here. Oh, we're above it anyway, so it's fine. Yeah, EOS still looks very bullish. It looks good from here. So.
All right. Yeah, I see. I skipped over NBIS unless you wanted to finish on EOS.
No, that's it. Just look for 596 as initial resistance, and hopefully it comes all the way up to 827, which will be magnificent. Market makers like it. They're still trading it pretty heavily in the MCDX plus.
Yeah, they are. All right. Next is NBIS, and this one is huge retrace back to the mean right up here, and then you got a rejection. So it came up to the 200-week moving average, got rejected, and now it's back down to the 28.88, trying to flip that back to a support after holding the 618 down here, the 25.42. So ultimately, it's trying to maintain a floor, and we can see that right here with all these weekly candles basically holding that 25.42 zone. So that's ultimately your support, and it's trying to break above 28.88 now. And if it can clear that, then we'll get the 786 next, which is going to be 32s. So it is in the process of trying to be a little bit more bullish, but it has some steps to overcome, especially after a huge rejection of the 200-week moving average up here. So it's just buying some time and trying to consolidate, build a foundation down here. So I think 28.88 is the number to watch for the week to see if it can actually stay above it.
Yeah, this is what we don't want to see on the moving day 200 average with Tesla and a lot of the Mag 7s. They're all kind of either just under, just at, or just slightly over the moving at the day 200. And this is
even with the SPY,
yeah, this is like the K-shaped recovery. It starts with like a V, but then it gets rejected at this critical point, pushes it back down, like you're drawing the little leg on the K, and then it goes back up again. So this is what we hope we don't see for all the Mag 7, but what I'm cautious of.
Yeah, me too. And that's everything that's happening right now, like even on SPY and stuff like that. So we got to just see if it can push through that resistance. But yeah, NBIS, perfect example of what we do not want to see for the markets to hit a major level and retrace. So with that, I can do CVNA here. And Carvana, we can see that price is going back up to a major resistance level. And what is that? That is the blue level of the GAN, and that is resistance. Not only that, we can put on the Ichimoku as well, and we can see that, hey, guess what? There's also the conversion and baseline at the same price. So yeah, it's also going back up to a very important level. And if it's something like that K-shaped recovery, maybe it'll get rejected here and come back down. So we will see. But it is at a very important level pre-market right now. And that is 225.54. So it's really close to that 227. So I would be cautious here because it broke through a lot of support, guys. They broke through this blue angle right here, broke through the blue level of the GAN and the conversion on the baseline, and it's retracing all of that basically right now. So this is caution territory until there's proof it really wants to break back above. But so far, it's still below all that level right there. So I am cautious on Carvana completely.
I brought up AMD here. AMD is nice because it never retested that my big 1-2 level, so the chart hasn't really changed. So the last big, well, not the last one, but back in 2022 was the high, and then a 2023 low, and then we got a higher high in 2024, and then now we've got a higher low in 2025. So it looks really wild, but it's actually very bullish to continue higher. So let's watch it as it retraces back up. This is the moving average 200 right here on the weekly chart, and it's just under it now. So I think that could be its next point of resistance, which is also the 38.2% fib extension of this whole pattern. So let's see. Yeah, 116.78 would be your potential next resistance, but if it can get over it, then we could see some even more V-shape recovering. Otherwise, it'll just have to like go sideways a little bit, go down, get stuck under there for a bit. But over 116.78, check out 136 next, then maybe 155 for the 618. And then what I've got drawn here is a really bullish, and you can actually see these are the weekly Ichimoku clouds. It looks like it could do a V-shaped recovery into 764. Wait, why would it be 618? I don't know, maybe 17 is this craziness. 764, 382. 1382. Oh, I see, because I was trying to draw subwaves. Don't worry about that. Let's just look for. Well, everything like I said. Just look for a 116.78 resistance first, then 136, then 155, and see where we go from there. And I'll have a better picture for you if we get another sub 1, sub 2 here, and I can draw the rest of the 3, 4, 5 in here. But the other thing I just deleted was conjecture. I'm trying to stay away from that. It's been burning lately. All right, there's my AMD.
All right, let's take a look at what's next here. Oh, Nike, I see, and Nike. Oh, there is a question though about CONL. They have a 47 average. Do you think it's a good spot to average down? I mean, I have been averaging down like way lower when coin was in the 170s and 180s. So I think that was probably the best opportunity to do that. But right now, coin is looking like it's trying to hold a new support level around the 197. So if that continues to hold, then yeah, I think CONL could be a good spot to continue its journey higher as well.
Oh yeah, we're still looking at my chart. I thought we were looking at your chart, but here's my CONL chart, and yeah, we're down here, and I'm looking forward to get to like 32236 or 47 next. This is a great time to not financial advice, but I would be adding more back down here. I sold all my CONL yesterday thinking it might go back to that stupid gap again, but looks like I'm just going to be buying it right back again. Yeah, looking for a big move up from here.
All right, and
so the market makers haven't priced against it. Go ahead.
Yeah. There's no big demand for it just yet, but I think it's coming. But we can see crypto. A lot of crypto is still stuck too, so that's kind of the reason why. All right, I have my Nike chart here, and the monthly chart is all that matters in my opinion. And just taking off these fibs here, you can see the 200-month moving average. It still has not been touched. And you know what? I made a post of this yesterday, and I said it's never been touched in the history of the chart. Right? You can go back and see when the 200 was created right here, and it was never touched ever. So it's almost there though, right? It almost touched it. So I think the closer it gets to it, the 64, 76, then the closer and the better the risk reward. So it's also getting closer to this angle. This angle is actually what I've been talking about for months now, right? I said price is probably going to gravitate to there before there's any bullishness, and I've been bearish on this for a long time.
Oh man, it sure did.
People always ask, they're like, are you bearish on anything, Matt? Well, yeah, I've been bearish on Nike for a long time. And I said probably back in August or July of last year that it's going to probably gravitate to this angle, and that's exactly what it's doing. So I think we're in the bottoming process now. I think we'll probably see a few more months of maybe retesting this zone, maybe even wick through the 64. go back below it. But I think it's really looking like it has potential now to continue higher, because not only that, it's a back test of this previous high back here in December of 2015, right? So this now finally has probably completed its bearish cycle, or almost completed, maybe within the few months. So you can probably start to see something like this continue higher now in the years to come. So I think we'll see a recovery for Nike sooner than later, maybe even by the summertime. But I don't know if the downtrend is over completely yet, though, because we still have not touched it, right? You can see we still did not touch it yet, so there is potential for it to go lower first before higher. But I think the risk reward is really finally in favor of the bulls now, the closer it gets down to the low 60s. So yeah, I think after all this time where I said Nike is terrible, it's finally looking better and better. Kind of like AMD, how it was a bottoming process, and now AMD looks better and better. So I can see Nike doing the same exact thing too. So patience pays off to not jump in too soon. I know a lot of people on X were like more bullish a while ago, but nothing was saying bullishness until it reached its symmetrical support, and basically it's almost there. So with that said, Tracker, do you want to do something before we go?
Let's see. I'll just say, as far as tonight's triumvirate show, it's a little touch and go. We're just waiting to hear if Cat is up for doing it. But if he is, we'll definitely do it and let you know today. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see what I can divine about MVIS here. I guess the safest thing to do. I do, I think, two things on here. Let me just move this. Here's a potential ABC retrace. This is all in the way now. Just move you out. So, it had this high up here of, way back here, $2.70, and it came all the way down to 78 cents. And it looks like it went, like 618, 11.4. So maybe it can come up to 88.6% at 248. And then just based off of this wave start, wave 1, wave 2, it looks like if it's really bullish, it would go to 187 next, back to $1.43, 258, 214, and then 373. So either this ABC or 5 waves up. I don't know. A pretty good bet. Yeah, just look for that. Look for resistance at $1.40. Well, it's already above $1.43. Yeah, let's see if it gets to $1.87 next. If it goes to $1.87, then maybe it turns back to $1.43 before turning up to 258, or it just continues on to 248. So I guess watch out for $1.87 as the ultimate resistance. If it goes above $1.87, maybe it'll just keep running up. But if not, I would look for it to come back to $1.43. And you can see the market makers are kind of rolling back into it. It's a 35% on the MCDX Plus on the weekly chart. Yeah, and that's it. Anything else, Matt?
Nope. I gotta run now, but I think we couldn't get through all the requests, but we'll try to see if we can do the triumvirate show tonight, and we'll let everybody know.
Yep. I'll just say CLDI is a long hold. They're going to be, until they get some news about their stuff, it's just going to kind of probably go sideways for a while. Yeah, sitting on that one underwater too. But yeah, we'll let you know about the triumvirate show tonight. Good luck out there, guys, today. Again, if you came in late, either expecting a strong continuation over the moving average, the daily moving average 200s, or that moving average 200 for a lot of the charts, the Mag 7s and whatnot, might be resistance and might give us a little bit of support retesting. So, A or B.
Yeah. But the good news is the SPY is looking like it's going to gap up above the 200-day today, and the 200-day is at 573.74, and it's above it pre-market. So that's the good news, right? For a possible continuation higher. So good things developing for sure. So let's keep an eye out on that, and we'll see you guys later.
Yep. Either tonight or tomorrow morning.
That's
All right.
correct.
Thanks, Matt.
All right. Thank
All
you
right. See you
guys.
guys later. Good luck.